So I have a question from the lovely Georgia on Instagram, and it's in reference to a quote by Tara Brock. So the quote is: "No one can offer you a formula for navigating all situations and all states of mind. Only by listening inwardly in a fresh and open way will you discern at any given time what most serves your healing and freedom." There's a lot in that, you know. This is what I've been communicating about for the last few years, and this is what my course, the 8-week course, is about, really. I'll read that quote again. "No one can offer you a formula for navigating all situations and all states of mind." Now, there's a lot of trinkets and shit for sale in modern spirituality, and all it boils down to it is kind of ancient and old techniques that have been done a million times before, but in a way don't seem accessible to the modern Western world. Modern Western people are not reading sages or masters or looking back. They're looking for new because they like window dressing. The ego likes the glossy photographs, or like the ego is attracted to an image, and a lot of spirituality is selling you tools in a sense of how I built my image. Now think about that for a second. Do you want to pay someone for a course or for a book or for a whatever so that you can have their image or your version of their image? Maybe you do. I don't. I don't want image at all. I want to know who I am. I want to meet myself. I want to meet what's under the image, what's under my aggression, impatience, my heartbreak, my grief, my joy, the job I do, the country I live in, the culture I have, the age I am. What's underneath all of this? That's who I'm working towards. The other stuff I can enjoy, but aiming to, not attached to. It doesn't become my identity. So the second part of that quote: "Only by listening inwardly in a fresh and open way will you discern at any given time what most serves your healing and freedom." Like, that's a brilliant way of putting it, that as we find our way with ourselves, we follow our own path. That's why it's pointless to say that we shouldn't eat meat. I've come back to this a few times. Or we should eat meat. That's bullshit. It doesn't make any sense. Each individual follows their growth and their path, and they may feel that meat is beneficial for them until it's not, or it's not beneficial until it is. Or they may feel that yoga is right for me, and a week later or a month later, yoga is not right for me. Meditation is, or this type of meditation, changes and changes. So I've meditated for 20 odd years, and I now have a number of tools and techniques that I would revert back to at times. And at times I just feel, I need to do this again. So I don't have one technique. I don't have one type of meditation. I don't have one practice. I dip between different things as I feel moved that there are work there. At the moment I feel moved perhaps to return to ayahuasca. I'm not sure. I'll see when the dates, I'll see if it lines up, I'll see if it feels right. So also I would say, that I have a daily practice, and that comes from a list of priorities. What is important? So it's important for me to check in the morning and meditate. It's important in the evening. Some days it's important to spend 2-3 hours during the day sat in a park in the sun doing nothing, just being present as much as I can, maybe reading a bit, respond to the odd message, be still, listen, observe. Same in the evenings. Might get into the car, I might sit in the dark for 2 hours. I might do candle focus. Don't ask me how the car hasn't burnt down, but that day may come yet. I might do different techniques or meditations, because and some days I don't do any of them. I'll do my core meditations 15-20 minutes in the morning. In the evening, that might be it. I might not do anything else. But some days I might have a few days that I'm moved and I just know I have to do more work. There's 2 hours here, there's an hour, there's whatever, I have to work. So to be in tune with your spirit, the more we can build that muscle, that neural net, the more present we can be and know, I have to work today. I have to tune in, I have to be present. So if you align what is your priority, and if you then look at, well, how do you spend your day? My priority is my spiritual growth and expansion, knowing who I am, moving into my power. I'm hungry for power. That's what I want. I don't mean power over other people. I mean power over myself, power to express myself, assert myself, stand in my godlike being on this earth in front of people who will dismiss me, ridicule me, think I'm crazy, love me, hate me, whatever. To honour who I am, more and more power. That's what I'm looking for, to express and follow my path, whatever that may be, wherever I am guided. And, as time goes on, that path is very different from the path the human wanted. Human wants money. Human wants comfort, women, chocolate, fast cars, sex, all these things. That's the human wants. Spirit doesn't want these things. But those things are still good. They're still beneficial. And they're still on my list. They're high up on my list. Of course, I want travel. I want a nice apartment, and I want a big fucking king or queen size bed. I want to sit in the sun. I love seafood. I want delicious food in delicious restaurants in wonderful countries. I want beautiful women. I want the company, the love making, the expansion, the heart connection. I want all these things, same as anyone else. But just above those things on the list is my own spiritual expansion. So if any of those things don't align with that spiritual expansion, I just can't go through with it. If she's sitting in front of me and it's all on the table, if it doesn't feel right, I can't do it. And if there's work presented, hey, you can work here, you'll earn X amount, and I think, oh, that'd be handy. Sometimes I just fucking can't go through with it because it's like, nah, it doesn't feel right. I'm dishonouring myself. I just gotta stick to my path. And I know that as I stick to my path, these other things on the list will can at times do present themselves, and more so in the future will present themselves more consistently, more regularly. So I'm kind of okay with that. Now, obviously, I get my days where I'm not, and I think, oh, I want the money, I want the comfort, I want the fast car. Why am I living in my car? Holy fuck. And that's another layer of grief and pain and ego and attachment for me to work through, and finding that balance. So my point is, for anyone listening, it's worth finding your priority. Your priority might be to meet the man. It might be to get promoted. It might be to make X amount of money this year. If you feel frustrated and unhappy in 6 months' time, look back at your list of priorities and go, well, my priority was making money. So no wonder you feel unhappy. Money ain't going to make you happy. It's not going to bring you peace. But it helps us live. It gives us comfort. It'll make life easier in the long term. So often, what I found with a woman I worked with recently, wanted to explore and expand her goddess energy, wanted to be freer, move into the queen. But then when you look at the day was all about work, money, clients, building a brand. That's all ego. That's not related to the queen. That's not related to the goddess. It's not related to spirit. So what do you do in those instances? And often people struggle. And in many cases people say, no, higher self-work or the brand. And often many people will just say, and they'll make excuses. They won't just kind of go, well, I want my brand. They'll go, well, I think that this will help me to develop because it's going to make... And basically that we're so invested in career or having a man or having a family or having a bigger house or having a bigger car that we can't let go of those things. So we'll give many hours of our day and a lot of our time to that stuff until we get to the end of the road with it and we realise this shit doesn't fucking make me happy. I'm not being called for this. It doesn't fulfill me. It would fulfill me to listen to my spirit, to follow my spirit. Finding what the priority is. My priority was my own expansion. That's why I ended up in the car, and that's why I stayed in the car. I didn't want to waste my time or energy on jobs or on other stuff that wouldn't allow me my own fulfillment. So what do you put your time and effort into? Then also I would say to be flexible with whatever techniques you use So don't attach, or try not to attach to any techniques. I have different tools that I use at different times, and it's to be in tune enough with myself to know, this isn't, I need to adjust this today. I need to do an hour instead of 15 minutes. I need to do 2 hours today, maybe tomorrow. Or I need to do this type of focus, or that type of exercise, or move into breath work, or move into whatever. To be able to move around and let go and not attach to anything. So often people have a technique and they think, I did my technique. Why am I not at peace? Why am I not happy? And in the cases, for example, yoga, I think many will agree. I've worked with a number of yoga teachers at this stage, and all of them had to really begin to assess what is yoga. That yoga is totally bastardized now by the West, and what yoga is not how it's sold in the West at all. Yoga is the same thing I'm teaching. It's presence. But the amount of people, say, who practice yoga or even meditate and who can't be present with themselves is unfucking believable. Depth of presence expands. Even when you think you are being present, go fucking further. Push yourself further and keep pushing further, and you'll find that you'll go through doorways and you'll have breakthroughs that you didn't expect, that you didn't know were there. So know what your priorities are, know what's important to you, and then look at what work you put in to move in that direction. And if it's to make money or to meet a man or to whatever, well then put in the effort in that direction. But if you then have times where you feel unhappy, unfulfilled, and you look back at your list and you're thinking, well, I'm making more money, or I've met a man, or whatever, those things they're fine to have in your life, but they're obviously not going to make you happy. They're not going to fulfill you. And a big problem is people don't know themselves. They're not aware of themselves enough. They're not aware of what's passing through them. They don't know how they feel. They don't know who they are. So if we don't know who we are, the shit that we want to experience or we want in our life, where the fuck is that coming from? Do you see my point? We're people who are lost, who think, but I really want a relationship. But you don't know who you are, so how do you know you want a relationship? What part of you wants the relationship? Is it the ego? Is it the loneliness? Is it the unhappiness? Is it the comparison to friends around you or society, or pressure from parents or whoever? So we need to know who we are, to be more grounded, to see what's and then to fucking walk that path. And that's not easy. So we might find that for years we're thinking, I want more money, I want more money, I want more money, I want more money. And then we might actually begin to work home to who am I? And the who am I might say, I don't care about money. I just want to be comfortable. Or it might say, which is me, it says, yeah, I want more money. I want a lot of money, but my own spiritual growth is higher on that list. That's what my list looks like. I still want these nice things, but my spiritual growth is still top. It just stays top. That's where my time goes. That's where my energy goes. The last thing, that I want to say in relation to this of, say, staying grounded or focused is the shadow. It's just always important to know what pain is coming up underneath randomly. Could be all day, could be once a week for 5 minutes. What little bits are coming up, and to know how to work through them, to know how to be present with them. But then ultimately as well, it's practice, consistency, putting in time, not watching Netflix for fucking 9 hours or being on Facebook or Instagram or whatever it may be. That time can be spent doing other things. When that's what I've had to do, look through my day, see how much time am I spending on my phone or fucking distraction or eating shit or whatever it may be, to gradually shave off that time into stillness, into what can I do productively to work towards my own peace, developing this habit, building this habit of presence, and that's a life's work. So I'll leave it at that. Long enough message. I hope that is of use to anyone listening. And any questions, be free to email me or message below. And I'll leave some links below this podcast or YouTube video. Yeah, in the coming weeks I intend to do another shadow work week, another kind of death rebirth week like I did on Instagram a few weeks back. I'm not sure if I'll do it on Instagram or if I will do it on Zoom. And then 2 weeks after that I might do a week on the Savage. But the two of those will be linked, and it would be really important just to have a grounding in shadow work before moving on to anything else. Anyway, thanks for listening. Be well.